Hello everyone and welcome back to Cute Crochet. My name is Sri and in today's video I am going to show you how to make this crochet bow. It's really easy to make and they make adorable hair accessories. You can put them on any clip or small claw clips, or you can even put them on hair ties or headbands. You can make it in neutral or festive colors or any colors to match your outfit, and it makes a perfect gift for the holidays. And it doesn't have to be limited to hair accessories either. These make beautiful Christmas tree ornaments, or you can even put it on your wreath or your presents. The possibilities are endless for this pattern. So let's get started. I'm going to be using this red yarn. This is a 4-ply yarn, and with it I'm going to use a 3.5mm crochet hook. We are going to start by making a slip knot, and the simplest way of doing that is wrapping your yarn on your finger twice like so. Then pull the first loop over the second one, and then pull the second loop up and off your finger. Then insert your hook into that loop and pull tight, and that's our slip knot. Don't make the slip knot too tight. Now we are going to start chaining. To chain, simply yarn over and pull through the loop on your hook. We are going to make 45 chains like this. You'll notice that I'm keeping the tension on my yarn pretty loose while doing this. This will make working into the chain much easier. Here I finished making 45 chains. Now we are going to start working into this chain. We are going to work into the back loops of the chain. If you flip the chain over, you'll be able to see these bumps at the back pretty clearly, and these are the back loops that we are going to work into. We do this to get a nice finished edge. We are going to skip the first chain and then work a slip stitch into the second chain from the hook. So flip the chain over and insert your hook into the back loop of the second chain. Then yarn over and pull through, then pull through the remaining loop on your hook, and that finishes the slip stitch. Into the next stitch we are going to make a half double crochet. To half double crochet, yarn over, insert your hook into that stitch and pull up a loop. You will have 3 loops on your hook like this. Then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops at the same time, and that finishes a half double crochet. Let's do that again. Yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch and pull up a loop. 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all 3. Continue to make half double crochets into the next 18 stitches for a total of 20 half double crochets. Here you can see that we are creating a nice finished edge, and this is the reason we are working in the back loops. Here I finished making the 20 half double crochets. Then into the next 2 stitches we are going to make slip stitches. Then into the next 20 chains we are again going to make half double crochets. Here I finished making the 20 half double crochets. There should just be one more chain remaining. Into that chain make a slip stitch. This brings us to the end of row 1. Then we are going to chain 1 and turn over. For row 2 we are going to be working into the back loops only. If you look at the stitches carefully, each stitch has a front loop and a back loop. For these stitches, we are only going to go through the back loops. So into that first slip stitch, go in through the back loop and make a slip stitch on top of it. Then into the next stitch in the back loop, make a half double crochet. Continue to make half double crochets in the back loops of the next 19 stitches for a total of 20 half double crochets. Working in the back loops pushes the stitches one step back, creating this nice ribbed effect. You will see it more apparently after we have made a few rows. Now I will continue to make the rest of the 20 half double crochets. Here I finished making the 20 half double crochets. Now we have reached the 2 slip stitches of the previous row. Into those 2 stitches in the back loops make slip stitches. Then into the next 20 stitches make half double crochets into the back loops. Here I finished making the 20 half double crochets. We are at the last stitch. Into that last slip stitch make a slip stitch, and this brings us to the end of row 2. Chain 1 and turn your work. From now on, every row 3 and onwards is going to be a repetition of row 2. We are going to make a slip stitch into that first slip stitch. Then half double crochet. We are going to make half double crochets into the next 20 stitches. Then into the 2 slip stitches in the middle make slip stitches. Then again 20 half double crochets and then 1 slip stitch at the end. We are going to repeat this again and again, working the entire time in the back loops only. I am going to make 4 more rows like this for 6 rows in total. I am going to finish this and meet back up with you. Here I have finished making 6 rows. Now chain 1 and fasten off, leaving a long enough tail for sewing. This is our piece for the main bow portion. We are going to fold it in half and then pinch it in the middle, and that will create the bow shape. Next we are going to make the middle portion of the bow. For that, start by making a slip knot and then we are going to chain. The length of this chain will depend on what kind of bow we are making and what we are going to use it for. If you are making a bow like this without the tails, you will need to make around 10 chains. If you are putting it on something flat like a headband or a clip, around 15 chains is enough. If it's something bulky like a scrunchie or a claw clip, you might have to make around 20 chains. For this one, I am going to put it on a clip, so I am making 15 chains. Make this chain pretty loosely because we are going to work into the back loops again. Here I finished making 15 chains. Now we are going to turn the chain over and work into the back loops. Skip that first chain and go in through the back loop of the second chain and make a slip stitch into it. Then we are going to continue to make slip stitches into the back loops of all of the chains. Here we are at the end of row 1. Now chain 1 and turn your work. For row 2, we are going to work slip stitches into the back loops of all of the stitches. Here we are at the end of row 2. Again, chain 1 and turn your work. Rows 3 to 5 are going to be a repetition of row 2. We are simply going to make slip stitches into the back loops of all of the stitches. I am going to finish this and meet back up with you. Slip stitch rows like this are a bit difficult to count, so keep track of the number of rows you are making. Here I have finished making 5 rows. Now chain 1 and fasten off, leaving a little bit of a tail for sewing. Next, the ribbon portion of the bow. This is optional, but I much prefer the look of the bow with it. Start by making a slip knot and then chain 28. Again, make sure to chain loosely because we are going to work in the back loops. Here I finished making 28 chains. Now we are going to start working into it. We are going to skip the first 2 chains and work into the third chain. Flip the chain over and make a half double crochet into it. Then make a half double crochet into the next 11 chains for a total of 12 half double crochets. Here I finished making 12 half double crochets. Then into the next 2 chains slip stitches. Then make half double crochets into the remaining 12 chains. Here we are at the end of row 1. Chain 2 and turn your work. This chain 2 does not count as a stitch. Then into that first stitch into the back loop make a half double crochet. Make half double crochets into the next 11 stitches for a total of 12 half double crochets. Then into the 2 middle slip stitches make slip stitches. Then make half double crochets into the remaining 12 stitches of this row. Here I am working into the last half double crochet. We are not going to be placing any stitch into that first chain 2. Chain 2 and turn your work. Rows 3 and 4 are going to be a repetition of row 2. Make half double crochets into the first 12 stitches. Then 2 slip stitches in the middle and then again 12 half double crochets. I am going to do 2 more rows like this for 4 rows in total, and then I am going to meet back up with you. Here I finished making the 4 rows. Chain 1 and fasten off. No need to leave a long tail here. Just leave a little bit to even. We are going to pinch it in the middle like this to form the shape of the ribbon. Here we have all the 3 pieces we need for the bow. Now we are going to weave in the ends using a smaller crochet hook. Weave in all of the tails except the ones we left for sewing. To weave in, I like to go under a couple of stitches using my crochet hook and then pull that tail through. Then I repeat this a couple of more times. Once it has been sufficiently woven in, you can cut off the excess. I am going to repeat this for all of the pieces. Now we are going to start sewing, starting with the main piece for the bow. First decide which side of the piece you want as the outside of your bow. Both sides are nice, but this side I feel is more symmetric, so I am going to use this one. With the good side facing inside, fold it in half and then sew along this edge. Once it has been sewn, flip the piece inside out. Then match up the center of the bow. Then we are going to cinch the center of the bow using this same tail. Weave your needle in and out through the center of the bow. Go under the slip stitches that we have made. Then when you pull on it, you will be able to cinch it. Repeat the same thing on the other side as well. Pull this tail tightly. Then bring in the ribbon part of the bow. We are going to cinch the center of it in the same way. Then wrap this tail tightly around the center of the bow a couple of times and then tie a knot. You can now go ahead and cut the excess tail. Then bring in that center piece and wrap it around the center of the bow. If you want to add a scrunchie or a claw clip, you will have to do it at this stage as well. Now sew this piece closed. Then I am going to weave in that tail and cut the excess yarn. Next, I am adding my clip to the bow by simply sliding it under that middle section. And that's it. I hope you guys liked this video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.